Hi and welcome. It's so great to join you on this sunny and windy Thursday afternoon. I'm so excited to see you guys out there. So if you're in the comments box, please type below and hashtag live. You're watching this live with me. And if you're catching this on the replay, hashtag replay, because I'd love to know when people are tuning in and if this is a good time or not a good time. Hey Lee, it's really great to see you. Thanks for visiting with me this afternoon. It must be lunchtime for you. So we're here to talk about secrets of the nervous system and why should you care? You know, I really love to ask people, what is the master control system in your body? And just wait to hear their answers. And if you want to type in the chat box and say what you think your answer is, I'm always collating so that I can share that with other people in the future. You know, it's fun, especially fun to ask kids what they think their answer is. And I get really cool feedback, right? So a lot of people say, oh, your heart, you know, and that's really true. If your blood isn't moving around your body by being pumped by your heart, then you're in trouble, and probably someone from the fire department needs to come and assist you. You know, and that's a really important system in your body. Other people tell me your lungs, because without oxygen, you for sure are in trouble. And that's also true. But, you know, what is really controlling those other systems? And it's your nervous system, right? It's your brain, it's your spinal cord, it's all those other pieces and parts that really tell things what to do and when to do it. And, you know, it's great if you have kids, or if you don't have kids, if you have a pet or if you have a plant. When you get hurt, do you consciously have to think about healing that cut? You know, like I have a cut on my hand, it's right there. It's in a super annoying spot, you know, hashtag annoying injuries that you have, right? And I don't have to consciously think about healing this cut, right? Because my nervous system is taking care of that. My body has the innate ability to heal. And that is true. Hashtag innate. Your body knows what to do for whatever purpose. And so your nervous system is controlling all of that below your conscious level of thought, right? And that's an amazing thing. And the more that we can understand about how our nervous system works, the more I'm in awe of it. I don't know if you are, but I am constantly a student of how the brain and the body works. And we have just barely scratched the surface of how our nervous system works and the capabilities that we really as humans have. And so what I'm hoping to share with you over the next couple of weeks is just kind of a deeper dive into what the nervous system is. So it's pieces, parts, all of those kinds of things, and then why it functions the way it does. So I'm just going to give you a little breakdown here. So today we're just kind of doing a welcome. I'm excited to see if this is a good time for people or not. And, you know, then next week, we're going to get going with some of the deeper stuff. So for next week, week 1, we're going to be talking about the anatomy of the nervous system. What are those pieces and parts that make up the nervous system, from the big parts, like our brain inside your head, to the little tiny parts like cells? So we'll do that. And then in week 2, we're going to go a little bit deeper, and we're going to talk about the sympathetic nervous system and what is that and why is that a problem in today's culture. So your sympathetic nervous system, you can just have a real brief idea that it's your fight flight, right? And you can imagine that right now in our current state of things, our fight flight system is on all the time, and why that could be a problem. And then in week 3, we're going to be talking about our parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest and digest. Rest and digest. That's actually what gave me the idea for this series. Is I was talking to a patient about stimulating their parasympathetic nervous system, and I sang them that terrible little song, because I'm not a singer. I don't know if you are. You can share with me below some comments on singing if you want. So we're going to be talking about how to stimulate your parasympathetic nervous system and why it's really important. And then week 4, we're going to be talking about the top 3 things that are causing nervous system dysfunction and what to do about them. Hint, getting an adjustment is probably my top intervention for that, right? So I'm really excited. Thank you so much for those of you that have joined me live here. I appreciate your support, and seeing you talking in the chat box is always really great to know that folks are tuning in, and hopefully this can grow over the next couple of weeks. So my thought is, you know, I'm going to be speaking to all kinds of different people. So if you have kiddos that are at home doing virtual school, homeschool with you, this is going to be accessible for them, right? Like, I'm going to be speaking so that everybody can understand what it is that I'm talking about. This could be a really great place to jump off and talk about the human body if you're doing an anatomy unit or anything else like that. And also, I want to just really make this so that it's available to everybody. So if you know of anybody that is just curious about how their body works, and please share this with them. I would love to, you know, my mission is reach as many people to help them be as healthy and happy as possible. And that occurs because people share what I'm sharing too. So I really appreciate that. So if you have any questions, if there was things that I talked about in the upcoming weeks that you're interested to know more on, I would for sure love to hear that. You can leave a comment under this video or send me a private message. But I want this to be interactive. You know, nobody really likes just being like spoken at. And so I love being able to talk with you and hear what your feedback is. So, you know, just a quick take on like, why is your nervous system important? That was the main thing that I wanted to talk about today, because it does control everything. You know, and I think a great example is if you've ever hung out with a toddler and, you know, they're going along and they're having a good time, and then something upsets them and they flip their lid, right? So that's just kind of basic brain anatomy. So I use this analogy, you can use it for yourself, right? So let me get oriented. So if you imagine like your wrist here is like your brain stem. That's basic body functions, right? That's breathing, heart rate, digestion, like those very basic things, like I was saying, that you don't have to consciously think about at all. It just does it. That's in your brainstem here, right? And then we have our kind of midbrain. So, and we're going in order of like how this developed over time, right? So brainstem, very old part of the brain. Think like reptile, you know, very just, I'm going to react to my environment, and I'm just very basic body functions. And then we have the mid part of the brain, right? And so this is a little bit more in terms of like your cerebellum is there, so your sense of balance, your proprioception, how you can move and function in the world and figure out where you are in relationship to the wall, in relationship to the floor, and, you know, people around you. So that's the mid part of the brain. And then we get up to the top part of the brain, you know, and we have part of it kind of overlapping, and that's your frontal cortex, your prefrontal cortex, which really helps you with those higher level logic functions, right? It's rational thought, it's making decisions, it's all of those kinds of pieces and parts. And so if you think about in kiddos, this is still all really developing, right? And we can see that. So if you're a toddler, or, you know, your 9-year-old is going along and then something upsets them, they flip their lid, right? Because that connection between those lower parts of the brain, those older, more earlier developed parts of the brain, and that prefrontal cortex is not super strong yet. And really, it's not fully developed until you're about 25. And that might be hard for you parents of teenagers to hear, because, or maybe you already know that, right? Because they think that they know, and part of it is that they don't know, and it's because their brain isn't fully developed. So they flip their lid, right? So there's no connection between that reactionary mid part of the brain, which is like, you know, think prehistoric person, caveman, kind of like, you know, I'm going to fight, or I'm going to protect, or those types of things. And so there's not great connection between those two parts of the brain, and it takes a while for that to come back down. And that's not only in the young and developing brain, that can be in the traumatized brain, that can be in the inflamed brain. So like I said, in week 4, we're going to be talking about the top 3 causes of nervous system dysfunction. And one of them is inflammation. Actually, a really high percentage of it is inflammation. And, you know, why are we inflamed in today's culture? Well, diet, toxic exposures, there's a whole laundry list, and we'll go over that in week 4. And so, you know, it can take a while for that to come back online. And so that, I think, is just a little bit of why your nervous system is so important to understand, and to really take care of. So I'm excited for this 4-week series. Like I said before, thanks for those of you that kind of popped in and out. Leave me some comments in the video below on what you're looking forward to in this 4-week series. And I'm excited to come back to you next Thursday. So if 3:30 on Thursdays is a great time, please leave me a comment and say, awesome time, I'll be here next Thursday. If you would prefer a different time, please let me know. And if you ever miss this as a live, it will be saved and shared, and it will also be on my office YouTube channel. Because, you know, I have so much information to share, and I can only share that in office visits for this amount of time, and then I can share it here with all of you. So Lee, thank you so much. I really appreciate you hanging out with me so much this afternoon. Anyway, I know I've taken a lot of your beautiful afternoon. I don't know if it's sunny in Portland. I hope it is. It's almost 65 degrees and sunny here in Michigan today, and we're going to soak it up while we've got it. So have a great rest of your day. I will see you next Thursday here, same bat time, same bat channel. Have a wonderful rest of your afternoon, and I'll talk with you soon.